Well, Phil, it's great to have you on the show. It's always great to get to know somebody new and, of course, get to know the whole new band now. And looking forward to getting to know the new record and everything. But first and foremost, welcome to the show, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got to say, first off, you guys have what might be the most epic album cover that I have ever seen. I love it. I love it. Every piece about it I love. Of course, we're talking about the album cover for the new album by At the Wayside, which is your band. And, man, dude, it's like everything epic. It's just like all in one. And
that was kind of the point because the guy that we worked with to design it, he is phenomenal. And I was emailing back and forth with him, and all I could think was like, I just really want it to be chaotic, and I don't want it to make a lot of sense, but yeah. I want it to just be like crazy, just so much crazy stuff going on, because that's kind of like, what life is most of the time.
Right. And for the listeners who have not seen it, let's just say that it does involve some sort of sea creature, a Godzilla, what looks like a nuclear explosion of some sort, and a UFO. I'll leave it at that, and people can go.
Don't forget the crumbling cliffside and the submarine.
Yes, and what appears to possibly be the Titanic.
Something. I don't think I can legally say Titanic or Godzilla.
Yeah.
But I think Godzilla creature.
There you go.
And there's a person too falling into all of it. So
right. Who seems like he is the most unfortunate position he could possibly be in right now.
Yeah, he basically just accepted his fate at that point.
Right. So with that being said, what fate have you accepted at this point in your life, Phil?
Oh, I don't know really how to answer that. Like, fate is in like my personal life, my professional life. I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
I think I've accepted the fact that I'll have to work extremely hard at everything I ever try to accomplish.
There you go. But hey, at the end, you'll appreciate it more, and that's really what it's all about.
It took us over a year to make this album because we decided to do it all completely on our own with like our own equipment, our own software, our own editing and everything. And
wow.
I think I'm much more proud of this than anything else that I or the band has ever done.
Nice. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, since this is your first time on the show, and since this is kind of really the first like really big public splash for the band, as far as the album coming out, you guys are a part of Indie Vision Music now, which is really cool, and you're getting a good bit of exposure with this new record. Give us some history about the band, because most of us are hearing about you for the first time within the last couple of months.
Oh, well, it's probably due to the fact that we haven't had a new album come out in about 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
We were signed to Red Chord for a while there.
Okay.
And we had a different band name years back, and we changed it. And when we changed it, we signed to Red Chord and made a new album. And then over a couple of years, we just kind of had our lives kind of just got a little bit busy, and we all were doing different things. Our guitarist has got 2 kids, and it got difficult to be able to coordinate and be able to get together as often. But we haven't toured as much because life got pretty crazy. But we're working on getting actually a lot of shows this summer, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Nice. Well, what has time in the interim between the last record 5 years ago and now for you personally? I mean, what do you feel like has been kind of the real life that has informed the record?
Man, lots of stuff. We've gone through a lot of stuff. Just all of us personally in the band. More recently, we lost a really good friend of ours, and I had written this song that ended up being the title track for the record. That at first we didn't think anything, it was just one of those songs that I pieced together different aspects of life and kind of put together this song about friendship, and turned out to be like, that song reminds us of him now. And it's like this whole like emotion behind us finishing this record was that was one of the driving forces right there, I think, when he passed away. A lot of things have happened to pretty much all of us in the band over the last few years, and it's terrible in that, when bad or weird or stressful things happen, you kind of know that you're going to end up having to write about it because it's the only way to really deal with it. But it turns out to be a good thing in a way, because like I said, I think this is some of the best stuff we've done but hopefully everybody else agrees when they hear it.
That brings to mind an interesting question. I mean, you're talking about kind of a lot of hard things and a little bit of heartache going in with that, of course, with losing a friend. How does heavy stuff like that make its way into music like pop punk? Because so often, I mean, I always think it's happy whenever I think
yeah,
pop
well,
punk.
I think it's that mentality that we need to stay positive and we need to move forward and we need to be happy. As hard as everything was, like there's a slower acoustic track on that album, and towards the end there are some female backup vocals there, and they just happened to be somebody that broke up with me in the last 2 years.
Oh wow.
And we were going to replace them, and I realized that as awful as it is, the scenario, it's like it's kind of a cool way to use that situation and kind of ingrain it into the record.
Now I have to ask, with that being the case, does she know?
Well, yeah, does she know we kept it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I would assume we never changed it, and I had shown her the song when it was finished, so I would think she knows we didn't change it, but I think she lives in San Francisco now, so if she ends up hearing this at some point,
there you go.
Hope she enjoys the album. You're welcome.
You have made your Taj Mahal, my friend. That's right. I just compared your new album to the Taj Mahal. There's nothing to live up to there.
You did. I don't even. That might have been a curse. I don't know what you just said.
That's right. But, your album is an unsinkable ship, man. It can't be done.
Yeah,
no. So in all seriousness, though, I mean, you guys have been working, Cass, in some form or another, even if it's just the writing process, for a long time on this record. What all would you say would be the journey of just putting this album together? I mean, what was the experience like this go round compared to previous records?
Oh, well, this time around, like I said, this is the first time since we were young in high school putting together demos in our attic. Like this is the first time that we actually recorded a record, a full length album by ourselves. We did all the editing and everything, and sent it off to a couple different people to get mixed. And we're super proud of them, by the way. They're insanely talented. But it was fun and also funny in a way, because our old drummer Andy offered for us to use his entire house as a studio.
Yeah.
So we basically sucked up his house for the better part of a year.
Oh my goodness.
With studio equipment, soundproofing and instruments and studio desk speakers, all that stuff, and he didn't even mind. It was fun having him there, and he helped us track a bunch of stuff because it's kind of difficult to run back and forth from the computer to the vocal area, but it was good. He definitely let us have that freedom of recording whenever we wanted and basically just using the whole house. He let us have the whole house at our disposal, so that was cool.
Nice. So what I'm hearing is that your former drummer is single.
I think so. Oh. He's not married.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
He's not married, he's not engaged or anything like that. I'm not going to say he doesn't have a girlfriend, because if his girlfriend hears this, not only am I dead, but he's dead, and anybody who's spoken to me in the last 5 days is probably dead too.
No, I didn't mean to mean that he's untouchable in any way. I just meant that. I'm just trying to think of who I knew who was married, who
would let them do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know.
I did a lot of the vocals at my apartment, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because eventually, we were like, yeah, dude, we'll get this stuff out of here. I realized it's taken a long time, so it took a lot of the equipment back to my apartment, did the vocal tracking, and then I did all of the editing there too, which is timing and tuning, and that I think is what took the absolute longest of all of this. Was just I wanted to make sure it was good. I didn't want it to sound like, oh, these guys recorded this in his apartment. That's right. Sounds like it,
Yeah, that's always the dangerous thing about doing stuff on your own. Is it's really cool when it comes out right, and it's just so degrading when it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, and the best part was the freedom. We didn't have anybody any label owners or managers or anybody saying, oh, you really need to make a song like this, or this song isn't enough that, or there's not enough mention of this or that or whatever. It's like we just came, as we wrote each song, we put together this theme, and once we had the album cover, because we got the album cover done, months and months before we even knew when the record would be done, because I don't know, and that kind of helped motivate the direction of the rest of the tracks too.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. It was good to boss ourselves around,
Well, and good on you guys. I mean, because I think that it's good to not only be able to have the power to be able to make those decisions, but to actually have kind of the drive to force yourself to make those decisions, and also to keep yourself going.
You don't spend 13 hours a day for like 3 months editing vocals and guitars and drums and cymbals and everything else just because you feel like it.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. So now the song that we were talking about earlier with kind of dealing with the death of your friend, is that the lose one friend, lose all friends, lose yourself song? Okay,
yep.
right.
That's the Big Boy Meets World reference on the record.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I would have never known, because I have a limited exposure to that show. I've seen.
Oh, you gotta watch it, dude.
I've seen a good bit of them, but
you gotta watch. If you watch it from beginning to end, I guarantee you'll cry at least 5 or 6 times.
Oh, I'm sure. I really am. Well, and part of the reason why is I grew up like in a home where we didn't have an actual TV. Like, we watched movies, but we didn't actually get television signal from anything.
Gotcha.
So that I didn't have as much of that. So when I got to college, we had a TV in our dorm room, and that was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, I caught up on so much stuff.
What is this?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
30-second bits of television in between the television.
And to this day, I still don't mind commercials nearly as much as everybody else I know.
No,
So
I'm sure you don't.
It's like, well,
you even have them on YouTube now, so this world is built for you.
This is true. And so, it works out. But yeah, I will have to go back and revisit that some more, because yeah, I mean, the ones that I saw I always enjoyed, but I never did get around to watching all of them. But that's definitely something I'll have to add to the list. Oh, man, That's cool. So now what kind of inspiration and theme went into the song Closer Than Close, which is the other song we're going to play from the record?
Oh, Closer Than Close. Well, I'll go back to when we first started putting that one together. Our bassist, Brett, had put together this whole intro with this really sick bass solo, and this driving segue into a verse, and he came to us with this little demo, and I listened through it, and I was stoked. I'm like, yes, dude, this super fast, awesome, fun pop punk song. But I don't want it to be the happiest thing in the world. I want those choruses to really hit you, and the verses to do this and that or whatever. So I went home and I wrote 2 happy poppy verses, and then the choruses are just this darker chord progression. The bridge is this darker, this driving dark rhythm, and then the ending, actually the end of the song too, has lyrics from 2 other songs on this record, because when we wrote this, and it's actually the first one that we all put together mm-hmm. as far as all 4 of us having part in every single aspect of it, and we knew when we finished it that this would be the last song on the album, as far as the last actual song, because then there's the outro album and then the little bonus track that we've got on there. But yeah, Closer Than Close is definitely this love story type thing where everything around them, and the world is going into chaos, and the perspective of those 2 is the verses, and then around them is the world's kind of falling apart, the breakdown in the fall, for example, mm-hmm. Is going on in the choruses. And I don't know, it was kind of a concept song, really. We didn't sit down and think of what's the song gonna be about. It just kind of all came out based on what the theme of the album was.
So you'd mentioned that you guys were going to be playing a good bit of shows this summer, or at least that's the intent at this point. What are you most excited about with playing new shows? Is there a particular song that you're most excited to play live, or any place that you're really anxious to play at, stuff like that?
Oh, well, we have this show in Minnesota coming up soon, actually, that we love playing at, because we love the kids that come, and we love the guy that runs them, and all the places that we love are basically all over the country. It's hard to pin down just one place that we love. Bunch of places in Florida, Virginia, Texas, California, Colorado, Michigan. I mean, I'm just still really, whenever we have a show, I'm stoked. It's all I really can think about until we actually get there and play.
Nice. What are you most anxious for people to hear off the album in a live setting?
Well, we've been playing Closer Than Close for a few shows now.
Okay.
And we've been getting a pretty good response with that one. So I'm excited to play that one. Lose One Friend will be playing. What we got together? Oh, Inside of My Mind, we're going to do that one. I think was released temporarily by Indie Vision for a little bit there as like a stream or whatever. But okay. I think those are the three that we're going to be focusing on. We're also playing The Breakdown and The Fall
nice.
together. So, well, The Fall actually opens the show.
Cool.
And then we'll go into The Breakdown, and then we go into How We Live. So How We Live is in there too. So nice. I think there's four or five that we're playing. So
sweet deal.
It'll be good.
Nice. Coolness. What else would you like people to know, either about the new record or just kind of about what's been going on, or just information you want people to know in general? Anything else that you just want to get out there?
Just about the record, I just hope they pick it up or stream it or whatever they want to do to hear it, because we worked really hard and we want them to like it.
I like that. That's honest and earnest. I love it. Coolness. All right. Well, before we wrap up the interview, there's something we like to do, especially when we have somebody on the show for the first time, and we just call it meaningless questions. And it's pretty self-explanatory. These have no weight whatsoever. There is no wrong answer. And ultimately, it's just kind of to get inside your head just a little bit in the dumbest way possible.
All right, understood.
All right, cool deal. And do you have a preference, and if so, what is it for when you're sleeping? Do you like it to be really, really quiet, or do you like there to be some background noise?
I gotta say, I like the sound of the air conditioner on, because I don't know, I just kind of like that ambience, but also I don't mind it when it's completely silent.
Gotcha, cool deal. Do you prefer TV shows or movies?
That's tough, because I could binge watch Breaking Bad 5-6 times a year and be fine, but I'm also totally obsessed with movies. If anybody that knows me knows that I make references daily that nobody understands.
You and I would get along very well, my friend. Very well. All right. Well, fair enough. It's a toss-up. I like that. Cool. Do you prefer ninjas or pirates?
Man, I gotta say that I thought the whole ninja thing was like ridiculous. Okay. When that came out. I've always been a huge fan of Johnny Depp, so I'm just gonna go with pirates.
There you go. Cool. Soup or salad?
Usually get a soup.
The Flintstones or the Jetsons?
The Flintstones, for sure.
All right. Mac.
The Flintstones were just more down to earth.
This is true.
I think.
This is true. It is a little harder to relate to somebody who eats a pill for dinner. All right. Mac or PC?
Well, I'll say this. I have an iPhone and a MacBook, and we recorded the record on a PC.
Hey, I understand that too. I've got both myself, so it's not.
So
not at all.
I blame Mac though for charging $6,000 for a recording computer.
Yes, agreed.
That's also all on them. Could have been a good plug for you guys, but whatever.
This is true. When you watch movies, what is preferred, the movie theater or watching them at home?
Oh, I love watching them in the movie theater. I wish people still dressed up, like tuxes, dresses, red carpet, everything. I wish the movies were like this big, awesome, elegant event every time, instead of like showing up in your sweatpants and a t-shirt and not even really watching.
This is true, like texting through the whole thing that you paid $10 to see.
I'm like, literally, I cannot not soak in a movie, so when someone's with me that isn't paying attention, it drives me nuts.
I understand that as well. All right, new clothes or a new phone?
Ooh. I mean, I'd rather have something to wear, obviously.
Well, it's not to say that you couldn't have clothes at all, but just like if you had to choose between getting new clothes.
If I right now, if I were getting a new phone or new clothes, I'd pick clothes.
Okay.
So I've been wearing the same pair of work jeans for like 6 days.
Yeah, that's enough to make you want that. Absolutely. And toilet paper, over or under?
Oh, over.
All right, fantastic.
Definitely over. I mean, it's actually the way you're supposed to do it according to the patent for the toilet paper roll.
Really?
Yeah. I saw a diagram the other day, actually. And I'm like, I knew it.
You know what my one argument is for the other way, though?
What?
Well, it's like you end up with like too much hanging off the roll. When it's the other way, you can basically slap the roll and it rolls itself back up. That makes sense, but see, I don't just yank toilet paper off the roll because I wasn't born in a barn. I'm not a wasteful human being. I use it square by square. Ask Cheryl Crow. See, you're the only other person I know of who's makes that Sheryl Crow reference. I just mentioned that the other night. I was like, that's one of the weird things I remember about her, and every time I think about it,
sucks too, because I'm like, yeah, she's got some great music, but man, she said everybody should wipe with one square of toilet paper. She's insane.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm never shaking her hand.
Yeah, I'm like, clearly her fingers have gone through that multiple times, and I'm not down to meet that woman.
Amen. We're kindred spirits. I like this. Cool. And then we're down to the last two, which these are my favorites. Would you rather step in something wet in your socks or something squishy in your bare feet?
Wet in my socks for sure.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, because I can take those off. And if it was something nasty, I can go wash my feet. But if it's something squishy, I'm immediately disgusted, and I'll probably throw up, and then I'll have to step in that too, because quite frankly, I'll probably be dizzy and nauseous.
Fair enough. And then the last question is, what is the most un-rock and roll thing about you?
Man, the most un-rock and roll thing about me. I install doors and windows for a living.
I don't know. That could be pretty rock and roll. Do you?
Yeah, I know. I wasn't even gonna say, because I'm like, actually, it's pretty cool.
Especially if you break them as soon as you put them in.
Yeah, that's happened. Not to me personally, but I've been the guy who has to take the blame for it for sure.
Oh no,
that's always fun.
That doesn't sound fun at all, man. Not fun at all. Shoot. Well, dude, thank you so much for calling in. I know it was kind of fun getting everything lined up for it, but I'm glad I got the chance to talk with you, and I'm looking forward to getting to know the record a little bit better, and I hope lots of other people check it out. Of course, it's the band is at the Wayside. The album is called The Breakdown in the Fall, and it comes out the 26th of May.
Yep, May 26th.
There you go, via Indie Vision Music. So check it out, and thank you guys again for hanging out and letting us get to know you.
It's a good time.